And joining us now, Saeed Rahnema, professor of political science at York University, and we're glad to have you back in that chair in the studio, Professor Rahnema. It's good to see you again. Is there any way at all President Ahmadinejad could have won with 63% of the votes without cheating?
Absolutely not. And even we cannot call it cheating, you know. This is rightly, we can call it an electoral coup, as many people call it. Because what happened is that to begin with, they did not have such an intention, because they thought that the machine, the electoral machine of the establishment, after the leader decides who is going to be the favorite candidate, would gather enough votes, you know, through these revolutionary foundations and many other things. Also, Ahmadinejad had his own machine. In the past 4 years, you know, he has been moving around from one village to another, distributing money, oil money.
Okay, but how would you cheat?
Well, no, they thought that they have enough votes. But when a major part of the civil society activists, they decided to join in the election, and then they wanted to vote for the lesser of the two evils, because we should not forget that Mousavi is also another man of the establishment. So when they did that, this created a political tsunami that they realized that they are going to lose. And every night there were demonstrations, dancing around, and they thought that even when they went to the leader, they eventually agreed that this should not go even to the second round of the election. So they moved toward this total changing of the electorate.
But that's what I'm trying to find out. Do you stuff ballot boxes over there? Do you just bother not counting the ballot when somebody announces, here's the number, or how does it work?
I really do not know how they cheat, because I have not been involved in it, fortunately. Okay. But if we look at some of the votes, they are so funny. For example, in Azerbaijan, where Mousavi comes from, he loses even his hometown.
He lost 2-1 in his hometown.
Yes.
Not possible?
Absolutely not possible. And Karoubi in Lorestan got 69,000 votes versus Ahmadinejad's 770,000 or so.
Also not possible?
Not possible. Everybody is laughing at this.
Here's how the Washington Post reported on this today. And let me read this excerpt for you, and then we'll come back and talk. The election results, the Post says, in Iran may reflect the will of the Iranian people. Many experts are claiming that the margin of victory of incumbent President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was the result of fraud or manipulation. But our nationwide public opinion survey of Iranians 3 weeks before the vote showed Ahmadinejad leading by a more than 2-1 margin, greater than the actual apparent margin of victory in Friday's election. So again, is it not possible that he may have just won fair and square? No,
there are two problems with this. First of all, you know, we cannot rely on these polling. Secondly, 3 weeks before the election could be somehow a different case than the day of the election, because the more people in the civil society, women, the students, workers, teachers moved in, then that created that tsunami that I mentioned. Actually, if there were any accurate polls, the polls toward the end of closer to the election day would have been different from 3 weeks before that.
And they were tighter as it moved towards election day.
Not only tighter, I think everybody, all of us thought that this will go to a runoff, and in the second runoff, after 1 week, with the momentum that Mousavi's camp had got, we thought that Mousavi will win.
Did the Shiite clerics unequivocally want Ahmadinejad to win?
No, because I mean it's hard to. I mean, we cannot generalize these, because, you know, from the inception in Iran, you know, there have been differences among the clerics, even during the time of Khomeini. That's why they created two types of organizations. Both of them call themselves militant. You know, one we have got a militant clerics, and the other one militant clergy. So it's milder and prone to reform move toward one side, and the more radicals are the clergy, and the others are clerics. These are the ones who yesterday announced that the election is null and void, you know.
But they're all mullahs, right?
They are mullahs, yes.
Okay. Here's Michael Axworthy, a Middle East history professor at Exeter University, a quote from him today. The government has never before interfered with elections in such a total way. This wasn't just a case of manipulating the nature of the candidates, but fixing the result itself. Yes. And this represents a major change in the politics of the Islamic Republic, he writes. It wasn't so much an election as a coup, carried out by the regime against its own people.
Exactly.
The question that emerges from this is, what would motivate the Iranian leadership to take this, what appears to be, unprecedented step?
Well, because I think this is exactly what they were facing. You know, they realized that if it is continued, Mousavi will gain momentum and will win, and then in the process of election, something else happened. You had the debates. In order to give the pretext of the open election, there were debates, and debates, thanks to Ahmadinejad, turned into a total fiasco. You started attacking.
He attacked Mousavi's wife.
Mousavi's wife, and also, above all, Hashemi Rafsanjani and his family, implying that they are thieves. You know, not that he's wrong. You know, but at least saying it in front of the public, the whole public would see. I think he crossed the line that even for Rafsanjani was. I think Rafsanjani is also involved now in reacting to the leader, because he wrote to the leader did not meet with him, so he made him angry. So we have got a situation that the two factions that we had from the beginning, now they are in a brutal war against each other.
Okay, tell me this, Ahmadinejad and Mousavi, do they really disagree on policy all that much?
Not much.
Not much at all.
Not much. Not much. But of course, these are, as I said, in the absence of better candidates. So many people preferred Mousavi. And Mousavi, in some cases, of course, is different. We cannot say that it's exactly like Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad represents the hardliners, and he's backed by what makes him strong is not just he himself. We should not just look for one person only, but he's representing the Islamic Guards and the security establishment. These are the young Islamists who are dissatisfied with the clerics, and now the clerics are afraid of them. Because they said that if they continue like this, he said that he's going to expose Rafsanjani. If they continue to do that, because all of these mullahs became billionaires, millionaires, you know. Now, if somebody is going to expose them, then that's a serious problem.
So this is just this is a power struggle to maintain the position in the establishment.
Exactly. This is what happens is that now you have got a factional warfare, but it happens at the time that Iranian people took advantage of it. There were many calls that said that we should boycott the election because we don't want to legitimize the regime. But I think the shrewdness of the maturity of the Iranian civil society is that no, we join in, we play their game, and then we create the problem. Had they not joined, had they not voted, Ahmadinejad could have won with 55% of participation and then 90% of the votes, and nothing would have happened. People would not get angry, they would not resort to cheating, they would not resort to beating and this brutal suppression, you know, which really showed to the world what many Iranians knew, that this is an undemocratic regime which tries to have some sort of fascist-based relationship, you know, in order to maintain power.
Okay, Professor Rahnema, let's ask about the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. I'm trying to understand his position on this, because we saw in the opening to the program, he said even he wants an investigation into what's going on. He has at times indicated his displeasure with Ahmadinejad, yes, but he initially chose to hail Ahmadinejad's victory as a, quote, great celebration.
Exactly.
So what's going on here?
You see, I mean, compared to other two presidents that served under his leadership, Rafsanjani and then Khatami, each of them for 8 years, Ahmadinejad has proven to be a lackey of the leader. Whatever whatever he says, he would follow his policies.
A lackey, you said?
A lackey, yes.
Okay.
Without any questioning anything. So while the supreme leader was not happy with some of the things that Ahmadinejad would say, but at the same time, he was happy with the way he was handling his order. That's why he supported him. He was considering probably for a while that Mousavi could also, because Mousavi is also an established man. But in the electoral process, I think he took more distances, and then he came probably to the realization that Ahmadinejad would win, and then that's why the machine started, and they gave him vote. It was not enough. Then they resorted to cheating.
So why would he want an investigation now if Ahmadinejad is his guy?
the whole country is revolting, you know.
Okay, so he's trying to keep the peace at this point.
Absolutely. And then he's referring to the Guardianship Council, who is part of the whole cheating and undemocratic handling of things.
Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left before we join the others on the other side of the studio. Let's tackle a couple of more things here. On the main issues, nuclear enrichment, the Palestinian issue in the Middle East, is it fair to say that both these men, Mousavi and Ahmadinejad, essentially held the same positions,
yes.
right? Mousavi also is in favor of nuclear
yes.
enrichment, in which case it's a headache for America regardless of who would have won, right?
Well, I mean, if Mousavi had won, you know, no doubt it was easier for Obama administration to move in, you know, and then they would start negotiation, and there was more possibility of really giving some concessions to Americans. Even under Ahmadinejad, you should not be surprised if the regime comes to this conclusion that maybe they also give some concessions, even Ahmadinejad stays in power.
But do you think it would have been easier for the Obama administration to open to Iran if Mousavi had won?
Absolutely.
You think it would have been easier?
Much easier. Because now everybody is pushing Americans and other Western countries not to recognize this government.
Right. Although America has not, as far as I can tell so far, no administration official has come out blatantly and said, we don't recognize the results of this election, it's a sham. No one said that.
No, I think it's good that Americans don't say anything, because, you know, if they say something, Ahmadinejad will use it and others against, because there are lots of concern about their involvement. So it's better that they don't say much, but they should not recognize it.
Okay. We're going to get into a discussion about not only the effects of the election, but what's happening over there. Someone was killed today in Iran, a demonstrator demonstrating against the results.
They say more than one. They say more than one. But the government said one.
Anyway, we'll get into all of these issues on the other side of the studio as we continue our discussion. So, Professor Rahnema, if you would, join me on the other side.
By all means.
Thank you.